Are you looking for better shooting experience? How about a facility where you can shoot all of your firearms in the same day, where you can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, and practice your rifle work out to 600 yards? Shoot a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. You can do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Hi, I'm David Lombardo, president of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you love the outdoors, you'll want to know all about Northern Illinois' largest outdoor shooting facility, the Aurora Sportsman's Club. If you're a novice looking for a basic course, an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, or perhaps you want to participate in your favorite shooting event, or just spend an enjoyable day with a family, the Aurora Sportsman's Club is the only shooting facility in the region that offers all that and more. Interested? Then you won't want to miss the next orientation and tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Call, email, or visit our website today to find out how you can become part of a better shooting experience at the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois.
He is the human Molotov cocktail that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them.
So we're going to create a new government that serves you, your family, and your country.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues, here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen will be talking about one Indiana lawmaker who wants to make journalists have to be licensed. Then we'll be talking about millennials who are pro-gun and Trump tax reform. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So give us a call at 815-205-1584. That's 815-205-1584. Or go to Facebook, like our page On Target Radio, and ask a question or make a comment there.
That's pretty good for pulling it out of your you-know-what.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I try.
That's very good for pulling it out of here, you-know-what.
Yeah. Out of what you can't say what. We don't...
I have 2 credits, so yeah, I could say.
But who's keeping score? You are.
Just me.
Yeah. This is going to be an unusual show.
Yeah, in many ways. In many ways.
For the first time in 5 years, I don't have a rant. That's never happened before. So we've done...
I thought there was one other time.
No.
Or maybe not.
First time I don't have a rant. And you're in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's the first time. And I've been teaching all weekend. And I left today at like 4:30 in a sweat to get here and left the computer with everything for the show on it in my office in Waterman. So we basically got nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you put on a bathing suit. You put on a bathing suit.
I do.
So the show would at least have something, some substance.
Or cleavage. If you can't have substance, you better have cleavage.
Which pretty much leaves me out of that picture.
Right, you're SOL.
Although one could say you have to have a set. Well, never mind. That's a different issue, I guess. But yeah, no rant. I could rant about working every day, all day and night, and being so, in such a stupor that I would leave my office and forget my computer.
Yeah, that thing's like your umbilical cord. You don't go anywhere without that thing.
I know. I'm afraid I left it on the curb or something while I was packing the car. I don't know. But we do have, I did send you material.
Yeah.
And the first one, which I was going to write the rant on the thing about licensing journalists, which I think is interesting. The guy who did that is a Republican. He's from Indiana, I think, isn't he?
No, he's He's talking against it. Yeah, it is Indiana.
It's Indiana.
The Republican guy, yeah, the Republican guy is talking against it.
Yeah. Right. It was an Indiana congressman that wrote it. And the guy, Lucas is his name, Republican. But I find it interesting because the question that it poses is what this guy, this lawmaker, is saying is, okay, why don't we license journalists? First Amendment. If you can require that I be licensed to exercise my Second Amendment rights, why don't you be required to exercise? And if you think about it, if anybody needs to be licensed, it's journalists these days. Us accepted.
Well, it sounds like not really a license as far as are you qualified. It's just fingerprinting and sending them a fee. It sounds to me like he's playing devil's advocate is what it is.
Oh, I'm sure he is. But I just find it interesting that the state police are the ones who have to issue the permit.
Yeah, well, I think he's pretty sure it's not going anywhere. He said everybody should be appalled by the bill.
Yeah.
So
but
he's just playing devil's advocate.
The interesting statement that is made with that is, where did you say it? It says, I hope he's not serious in his approach, that if I'm mad at you, I'm going to file something to hurt you. I hope that's not his real intent. That's not how the General Assembly is supposed to work. That is how the General Assembly works.
Well, at least in Illinois it is. hence the Madigan shirt you're wearing.
Well, yeah, but you know, the fact is, and the other, I think, quotable line from this thing, literally, is the one where he says, I'm highlighting the licensing of a constitutional right. Society's become accustomed to that exact very thing. And then he says, but if we allow the licensing of one constitutional right, even one, that means the floodgates are open for something like this to happen. We're already doing it with the Second Amendment.
Right. Right, so, and I think that's what he's saying, because it says that's his big issue, is gun rights are his issue.
Yeah, and you know what? With the way journalists are going these days, I don't know that I have a problem with that. Somehow you got to prove that you're unbiased, which means we'll never be journalists again.
Right, no.
There's like a little time delay between you and me. I sit and wait, I listen, I hope. But yeah, I don't think he's serious about it. I think it's, you know, he's making a statement. I think that's what it amounts to. Because obviously it's not going to go anywhere. But it is an interesting thing. If they can require licensing for Second Amendment, why not for First Amendment? I don't see that there's a problem. Well, maybe there's a little problem.
Well, you know, I think that he knows this bill is not going to go anywhere, and so he feels safe to do this. He's just trying to make a point.
What about licensing politicians?
You need to speak into the microphone. I can't hear you if you don't.
What about licensing politicians?
Oh, well, one of the things that his bill is saying that if you have a felony conviction or a domestic battery on your record, that you would not be able to get a journalist license. And actually, they already passed that in Illinois for elected officials. If you have a felony on your record, you can't be elected to office.
Seriously? I didn't know that.
We have a friend who had a felony DUI who has a felony DUI on his record, and he was going to run for something, and he couldn't because of this new law that was passed, and he felt that it was targeting him specifically. I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't know if he ever was able to prove that, but he felt that it was specifically because he was going to run for this one office. I don't want to say who it is, because I think he's going to try to get it fixed.
That's a bad choice of words. But I'd never heard that. So if you have a felony conviction, you can't run for public office.
That's my understanding. Because it was a township office he wanted to run for.
Within about 10 years, no one will be eligible to run for office.
What about me? Am I chopped liver?
You're only a heartbeat away from a felony when you drive.
You should not make me laugh. I'll start coughing. I don't have a cough button here.
That's true, you don't. So how are you enjoying Hawaii so far?
Sorry, how do I like it so far?
How are you enjoying Hawaii?
It's hot as balls. And
did she say that?
I might have to take away half the credit for that.
I think so.
No, that doesn't count. If I was going to give one up, I would have said hot AF. You know what I mean?
But if you say hot as balls, then don't I have... Never mind. I'm just thinking...
Well, you just canceled it out, so even if it wasn't half a credit, I got it back, so... I tricked you.
How hot is it?
It is in the low 90s plus humidity.
Yeah, there's humidity in Hawaii. It's all water.
So it's basically like Illinois in July, August.
But prettier.
It is pretty, yes. There are certain times when we're out driving and I think, wow, look at that mountain, look at those palm trees, look at that beach. I mean, it is pretty stunningly beautiful, I have to admit.
Now, you're not on the Big Island, right?
No, we're on Oahu.
Oahu. And you're going to move?
Yes, we are. On Wednesday, we're going to move to actual Honolulu. We're on the West Coast right now, and Honolulu's more on the south side of the island, so we're kind of off the beaten path right now. So on Wednesday, we're going to move to Honolulu.
That'll be fun. And you're going to go to the memorial, aren't you?
We are. On Friday, we're going to go to Pearl Harbor and the Arizona and the Missouri. And we're doing a whole bus tour that day.
Okay. Well, we'll cover that when we come back. We got a few messages to cover, and then we'll be back with more Hawaii and more news with On Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
Do you dread writing? Is it challenging to find just the right words to get your point across? Do you put off developing marketing materials because you just don't know where to start? You get one chance to make a first impression, and my editor, Creative Business Services, can help make it a strong, positive one. Hi, this is Gretchen Fritz, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to tell you about My Editor, a business I started to help you overcome those concerns. What you're experiencing is very common. My Editor has helped business owners, candidates for political office, and even authors and public speakers. At My Editor Creative Business Services, we can simply edit your existing work or help you develop an entire writing plan of action from initial project design through final copy. We are easy to work with and will help you get your point across in the most effective manner. If words escape you, send me an email at myeditor@mail.com. Use My Editor Creative Business Services and go to print with confidence. That's myeditor@mail.com or find us on Facebook.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. And we're Skyping Gretchen in from Hawaii, where she's doing a show in a bathing suit. I mean, you know, come on.
You're not complaining, are you?
Well, I am, because the camera's set too high. But other than that, no, we're fine. We're good. You might do a little... you don't have a pole in the room, do you, by chance?
Seriously?
No, probably not. Okay. Anyway, so you had a good trip there, yeah?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, it's a long flight.
We do need that bridge, though. We do need that bridge from California to Hawaii.
Yeah, exactly. Which is easier than understanding women. Yeah, I get it. We are going to talk a little bit about the gun control thing. It's, you know, last week the rant that I did was, at that point I'd received over 1,100 news items from across the country, all of them about we need more gun control, we need to do away with the Second Amendment. I think I said there was like 34 out of 1,100 and something that were pro-Second Amendment. Clearly stacked deck. Clearly a stacked deck. It's got to be, Bloomberg has to be putting all that stuff out. What's interesting is now a poll comes out that says, basically, despite all that so far, basically at this point, nobody's changed their opinion on gun control. They're either for it or they're not, and they always have been and probably always going to be.
It's fairly priceless, and you have to admit that, you know, that was probably not what they were expecting, and certainly not what they were hoping for, and I'm sure they're very, very shocked and appalled.
Well, and I mean, some of the statements they make in this thing, first of all, it's Associated Press. I've never, what's NORC, Center for Public Affairs Research? I don't know what NORC is. Do you?
Not off the top of my head. I could Google it if you want.
Yeah, I don't know what NORC, Center for Public Affairs Research, but what they've written, what they claim they got out of this survey, is that, and they took it 2 weeks after the Las Vegas incident. They say 61% said the country's gun laws should be tougher. 27% would rather see them remain the same. 11% want them to be less restrictive. And that parallels a poll that was done in July of 2016. Then it says nearly 9 in 10 Democrats, but just a third of the Republicans want to see gun laws made stricter. I kind of take issue about the 61% of the country say they should be tougher.
You don't think that's accurate?
You know, look how many people we know. How many of them are saying we should have tougher gun laws? Did you hear that?
I mean, I don't know anybody, but yeah, I don't know anybody, but you know, we obviously tend to associate with people who are pro 2A, not anti 2A.
But true, but here's the thing. I think right now the country is about 50-50, isn't it? Roughly? Not just gun laws, but I mean conservatives versus liberals. If you look at election results, population-wise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So I find it hard to believe that 61% of Americans support stricter laws, because most Republicans, most conservatives would not. Their attitude tends to be, why don't you use the laws that you got to lock people up?
Well, in the most recent, I thought it was a Pew report that we had talked about, you know, a few weeks ago. I thought they said that no, it was actually going more, as you're saying, more towards, you know, enforce the existing laws rather than writing new laws that aren't going to change anything.
Yeah, they
There's so many of these polls that come out, it's hard to keep track of them. We almost need some way to catalog them.
Well, and the problem is you have to be suspicious about who does the poll.
Oh, no question. No question.
You know, for instance, in one of these polls, they're talking about half the people in the country said if there were stricter gun laws, it would reduce the number of accidental shootings. It would reduce the number of mass shootings. Slightly under half said it would reduce the number of homicides. I mean, everything in this poll is we shouldn't have guns fundamentally. And I can't believe that better than half of the population in this country feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know either. So do you want to hear about the NORC, the AP NORC?
Yeah, who are they?
Apparently NORC, I don't see what that stands for, but apparently they were pre-existing because this says the AP NORC Center for Public Affairs Research was created to join the expertise of NORC, one of the world's premier independent research organizations, with the AP, which provides news seen every day all over media platforms, blah, blah, blah. And then it says NORC at the University of Chicago is unmatched in its capacity to do policy-level analysis of research results, blah, blah. So it's something with the University of Chicago apparently was pre-existing.
Huh. Okay. I think this whole...
But we know a little thing or two about the University of Chicago, which is they're not conservative.
Yeah, exactly. This whole thing, I don't have a lot of faith in it because, you know, here's another thing. It says the poll also found a majority of Americans disapprove of how President Donald Trump is handling gun control. A majority of Americans clearly are not disapproving of that.
No, and he really hasn't done anything with gun control. So, I mean, I guess that's their gripe, is he hasn't done anything.
Well, but he's the first president since Ronald Reagan to attend an annual meeting of the National Rifle Association, which, of course, sent liberals screaming into the dark.
Yes, that definitely didn't rub them the right way. Didn't give them warm, fuzzy feelings.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they say 59% voiced disapproval of Trump's handling of the issue, while 40% said they approved. I find that hard to believe. And then about half of Americans age 60 and over approve of how he's handling the issue. That I can believe. Compared with 4 in 10 of those under 60. Politically, 79% of the people identified as Republicans approve of Trump's handling the gun issue, while 61% of independents and 89% of Democrats disapprove. 60% of gun owners approve of Trump on the issue. If 60% of gun owners approve of Trump on the issue, that obviously means 40% don't. I find that hard to believe. Because he's done nothing negative about gun control.
That is a little surprising. I agree with you.
Typically, these surveys are slanted something awful.
Yeah. They also said Hillary was going to win the election, so, you know.
And she's still out there blaming everybody but Hillary. She's still doing the talk shows.
She's still talking about it.
Yeah, she's still doing the talk shows, and every time it's something new. They find something new, you know.
She wrote an entire book that I can't get past. She wrote an entire book about it.
Yeah. I wonder what the sales are like. I haven't checked. They probably gave her.
I have no idea.
I bet they gave her a huge
I'm sure it's on the bestseller list. Yeah.
Yeah, they give her. I'm sure it'll make the bestseller list, even if it doesn't sell, because of course the, New York Times controls it. But
she'll just buy a bunch of cases herself just to boost her sales.
Yeah. I don't know. It's strange, and I think the Democrats have moved on vis-a-vis Hillary Clinton. I think she thinks she's coming back, but I think the Democrats have finally gone, that's not going to work. Yeah, that's not our best choice.
Yeah. It's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Do you know a Democrat you can call and ask? Just call them up and say, what's the party doing? Yeah, we do know one, actually.
I know somebody, but I don't know if she's home right now.
Well, we know somebody that we meet in parking lots looking for where the heck did I pick you up? Where were you? Oh, at Osco, Jewel. You just got that blank.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
You got that blank look on your face. When we went up to Bass Pro Shop, I picked you up after work.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Don Moran rolled up on you.
I'm in a parking lot looking around for Jewel Osco, and Don Moran pulls up next to my car. I go,
no, you were looking for Walgreens. That was Walgreens. That's why I didn't understand. I didn't remember the story.
Oh, that's right. It was Walgreens. Yeah. It's just funny. And the funny thing is, he just like pulled up next to me like I was waiting for him or something. He goes, "Hey, what's up?" I go, "Don." Yeah. Stranger things have happened. I don't know. You're kind of quiet over there.
He's stalking you.
I'm just listening.
He's in love with you, man.
I don't know. Eric's just sitting there. He's like toad on a stump.
He's just taking it all in. Taking it all in.
Here's an interesting statistic that comes out of this poll. Of the whole thing, I find this to be the most interesting. It says that the poll showed Americans divided over which party, if any, they trust to handle gun control. Close to a third, this is of the public, close to a third give Democrats the edge, while 28% prefer Republicans and 31% say they don't trust either party. Now, that could very well be true. That I could get.
It's almost perfectly divided.
Isn't Congress's approval rating is like 6%?
Yeah, it's in the crap or whatever it is. But the interesting thing about that is, I would almost say I'm in that 31% of I don't trust either one because, like Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, what the hell have they been doing in Congress lately? They are not acting like Republicans.
Oh, they've been very busy. They're obstructionists.
Yeah. That's basically what they've been doing, yes.
It's somewhat of an art form.
Well, the way they do it, especially Mitch McConnell, the way he does it, yeah.
They've been calling it for McConnell to step down.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. And what? The problem is we elect people who say they're going to do something, and then when they go there, they just don't do it. They don't. And I've asked this question because we've interviewed a lot of candidates over 5 years. We've had a lot of candidates on our show, and they always say this. They go, "Well, when I go to Washington, when I go to Springfield, I'm going to enact tax reform." And I'll go, "How are you going to do that by yourself?" And you get this look
by yourself, yeah.
Yeah, you get this look from them like you're supposed to be supporting me here, not with lying. One person's not going to do that unless his name is Joe Walsh. Walsh just moves his way around. But and I mean that in the most respectful and loving way. I love Joe Walsh, but
we love him.
Yeah, the reason he's not in Congress is because they couldn't stand to have him there. That was the whole reason. Anyway, we got to take another break. This will be interesting to try and do this, but we'll be back when we return with more on Target Radio.
Hi, I'm David Lombardo, co-host of On Target Radio, and I'd like to offer you a partnership opportunity. For over 4 years, On Target Radio covered the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech on AM 560 The Answer. But a 1-minute commercial was $200, making it tough to find enough sponsors. So last November, we left AM 560 and began podcasting. There's a learning curve to podcasting, and we've worked through the kinks and would now like to make you an offer. You can have a 60-second audio or video commercial for as little as $25 a week. We can also offer fellow conservatives their own radio or video podcast for as little as $100 a week with equipment and technical personnel included. You provide the content and host, plus get 6 free minutes of commercial time you can sell yourself. If you'd like to be an On Target Radio sponsor or explore the possibility of having your own show, call me at 815-741-3474 and let's explore the possibilities together.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Join like-minded friends supporting the right to keep and bear arms in Illinois at 7 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois.
Nobody ever comes and joins us at the Silver Dollar. I'm from the show. There are people there who listen to the show. Actually, there's quite a few people there that listen to the show. But, we keep saying, come and join us, and no one's ever walked up to us and said, I'm here because you said to come on a radio show.
Well, I think that we have gotten, Jan Nahorski, we have gotten him to start coming on occasion, but he knows other people too, so he ended up sitting with somebody else. But yeah, I mean, my mom came to one or two meetings. She's not into it. So, but Eric now comes all the time because of On Target Radio.
I do. That's right.
Eric Allen. Let's see, who else? I mean, Jan's the one I can really say comes sometimes because we invited him.
But there's a fair amount of people there who do listen to the show, though.
I would say a lot of them.
Yeah.
I would say a lot. We have a lot of fans in that room.
We really do, yeah. I'm not sure if they listen to it just to see if we're going to totally screw up or what, because
Some
they know
of them
us.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. They probably make book, How many times do you think they'll screw up Sunday night? I'll put a 5 on it, What are the odds? Pretty good.
Yeah, it's like The Price is Right, the closest without going over. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's that. Yes, there is. Now, this is an interesting article, and this is a surprise. But you know what? When I think about it, when I read it, I thought, gee, this is a surprise. But when I actually think about it, it isn't a surprise because it's about millennials. And when I started to read the article, I'm thinking, well, millennials aren't going to be pro-gun. But you know what? Millennials, you're looking at, 18 to 30 or something?
Well, it's people who were born between 1980 and 2000.
Okay, so you're looking, well, yeah, that's about right.
80, is that 37?
Okay, up into the 30s. But you know what? If you
37 would be the oldest, yeah.
Right. If you look at our action shooting sports program,
they're pretty much all millennials.
They're pretty much all millennials, yeah. That's right. And I hadn't thought about that until I was reading the article thinking, millennials aren't pro-gun. And I thought, wait a minute. Yeah, they are.
The interesting thing about the article, well, we should probably give people some background information. It says that the support for firearm ownership is rising, steady decline in opposition, and that 26% of millennials have purchased a gun, 43% of people under 30 own at least one gun, and the funny thing to me is that this writer for Politico, Ben Wofford, he can't come up with a good reason. He says maybe they're confused. He says he had another, that he's interviewed students on campuses and that many students are open-minded or even libertarian-leaning, which I find refreshing. And one interviewee this was sort of representative, said, if someone isn't violating my rights, why do I care? Which is a very libertarian attitude. But it's very frustrating to the liberals that the millennials are supportive, are pro-gun, and that they're sort of pushing back against what they've been taught from K through 12 and then college. They're rejecting the anti-gun rhetoric that they've been taught. And I think that this writer for America's First Freedom, which is the NRA, this writer for America's First Freedom really has come up with a quite good explanation, I think.
I agree. It is interesting because he does make the point that they grew up in the concealed carry era, which is true. They did.
Right.
They're you know, I mean, they come from families that hunted. They have a background with firearms.
They have never known a time when concealed carry wasn't a thing. I mean, it's been in existence ever since they've been in existence.
Yeah, I just I find it interesting because when you think of them, it just didn't come into my head that they would be pro Second Amendment until I started thinking about our action shooting sports, and most of them are, and we've got a lot of people in that program. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And
the other point he makes is that participation in high school shooting sports has been going up. More and more teams are doing, trap clubs, shotgun type clubs and air rifle and things of that nature. So they're getting it in school as well.
Exactly. Give us a call, 815-205, excuse me, 1584, 815-205-1584. You can say hi to Gretchen out in the middle of the Pacific. Well, she's in a hotel room, but surrounded by the Pacific.
I'm on an island. I'm not just floating.
Exactly. At least there's not a hurricane going on out there. No. But anyway,
It's hot as balls, I'll say it again.
It's what? What?
Hot as balls.
See, I got her to say it twice. That's it. She's got her 2 credits. She just ate it up.
That's a full credit. Oh, I reject that.
Plot.
I reject that.
You have potty mouth. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I'm a clean cut kid. Do you know
So
I'm wearing my Madigan shirt. Can you see that?
I'm not wearing a shirt.
Could you just lower the camera just a tad, you know?
You're a little something.
That takes up 4 credits right there. Okay, that's 4 credits. 2
so I'm like +5.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you get a lot of credit for that.
Totally worth it.
I'm just waiting for the comments to roll in.
I have no idea where this is going to go.
Please, all viewers, comments, please. The raunchier, the better. Just bring them on.
The FCC doesn't listen to this. So it's not so bad. It's we won't do
just
hard
the
time, right? I don't know. I could go put it on a bathing suit.
So we'll just go to the bumper out music now.
I told you I bought a Speedo, right?
Yes, you did.
I didn't quite realize what I was buying. It didn't look like that on a picture. It's it looks like there's a potato.
Probably the model was maybe a little bit less of a man than you.
It could be. It looks like there's a potato in my swimsuit.
Just one potato.
Well, yeah, but it's a big one. It's in Idaho. Okay, meanwhile, back at the radio show.
Larry's making a comment. He says, Speedo, no!
Well, thank you very much, Larry. I appreciate your support. I was going to wear it to Lifetime.
I'm not watching Facebook tonight. I should be.
I was going to wear it to Lifetime Fitness, but I was afraid they'd take away my membership.
That's a legit fear, dude. That's legit.
I don't know. I don't see anything on. I don't see anything on Facebook.
Everybody's over on YouTube.
Are they really?
It's the cool place to be today.
It's the cool place to be. YouTube.
Facebook is not cooperating.
Are they leaving messages on YouTube?
We just got one that says woohoo, and at least we know where she doesn't conceal carry.
She could
You don't know that. Maybe one of them's fake. You don't know that.
She could carry a full-size 45 in one of those babies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. These are not joking around.
Did you have alcohol for lunch? Barely not. Anyway, moving back to the mainstream portion of our show, now that the bathing suit competition is over, Brett Stevens with the New York Times columnist, calling for repeal in his column. He's kind of the guy, and I had not heard of him before, but apparently Brett Stevens at the New York Times carries the water for conservatives, for Second Amendment. And, of course, the person who carries the water for the Democrats is El Blimpo himself, Michael Moore. Remember, I'm sure you read it, he proposed a 28th Amendment. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, and that was, about a week or so ago, I think.
Maybe 2, yeah.
Yeah. So he was talking about doing away with any type of semi-automatic firearm. But it's okay to have a gun. It's okay. I understand you have a right to have a gun if you keep it at a club and you don't check it out and you can't go anywhere with it and it can't be semi-automatic.
Just like
yeah, exactly. Which is basically what Great Britain does. There are people that own guns in Great Britain, but they're in clubs and they're hunt clubs, and you go and do your thing, but you can't leave with the gun. And you see how well that works out.
Your friend Perry was telling us how it is in Canada, that he has guns, but he had to join a club in order to be able to do that.
Exactly. So it goes back to that. What's right for America is what they do in like Australia and Great Britain, because that's sensible gun control. And we'll talk more about sensible gun control when we return after pithy messages that you will enjoy. And then we'll be back with more on Target Radio.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. The On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invite you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
In need of a ride to O'Hare or Midway Airport? Well, look no further. The Yellow Checker Cab Company is the cab company for you. With the Yellow Checker Cab Company, you will always be greeted by a friendly face and arrive safely and on time for your flight. Start your trip off right by taking advantage of one of their limos, shuttle vans, cabs, or courtesy cars. And airport trips are not all they specialize in. This 24-hour cab service will pick you up anytime, any day, for any occasion. From bachelorette parties to school dances to just a night out with friends. Yellow Checker Cab Company has the best rates in town. So sit back, relax, and leave the driving to the professionals. Once you experience their fast and affordable cab service, you'll be a customer for life. When it comes to cab companies, be sure to choose Yellow Checker Cab, because you have the right to expect certain things from your cab company. For further information or to book your trip today, call 815-744-2900. That's 815-744-2900.
You're listening to On Target Radio with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more on Target Radio. Gretchen is in Hawaii, wearing a bathing suit on the radio. It's an interesting night. I'm sitting there here in, the U.S. Well, of course, Hawaii is the U.S., but, in Illinois, and we have no show whatsoever to speak of, and we're sliding along face down in the mud. But the upside is...
I thought everybody would get a thrill from seeing me in a swimsuit.
I do.
And Larry says I won the swimsuit competition.
That's true. You would. Who else entered? Anyway, one of the interesting things is you have adopted a gecko.
Yeah, there's a couple of geckos running around in here.
It's like when you go to bed at night, do they run across your forehead?
Not that I know of.
I told you when I was
Clifford says the tropical drinks are strong in Hawaii tonight.
Oh, how little he knows the truth.
This may be encouraging or quite disturbing, but I'm actually stone cold sober.
That's hard to picture. But anyway, that they must have whatchamacallit, some mojitos there.
I haven't had one yet, but I'm sure they exist.
You're planning on it, I'll bet.
I wouldn't be against it.
What can I say? As we both know, because we've covered this many times, there's no voter fraud in the United States. Right? The liberals have continuously beaten the drum about there's no voter fraud, despite the fact that even in Will County, we have caught busloads of people coming in to vote fake votes. Other than that small little thing, there's no voter fraud. Well, the Heritage Foundation has come up with 1,088 proven instances of election fraud, including 949 cases that resulted in criminal convictions, 48 that have ended in civil penalties, and 75 that have seen defendants enter diversion programs. What exactly is a diversion program?
Well, that would be like
joining
community service. That would be, yeah, it would be something other than jail.
Joining the county board.
No, not county board.
It says
just because I'm 5 time zones away, you think I can't hurt you?
That's frightening. What do you have, a rail gun?
I have people.
I'm the guy with the T-shirt that says, "I'm Sicilian. We don't call the cops. We call family." Huh? You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I got family. I got people.
I got family. Anyway, be that as it may, they feel that the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative group, to be fair, they have 1,088. Huh? Yeah, very. Yeah.
Very.
They have 1,088 proven instances of election fraud, and they think that's just the tip of the iceberg, which is hardly a surprise. Because you remember going into the last general election, I picked up some articles about how they found, like in an abandoned warehouse, they found a big pile of Hillary Clinton votes before the election, and they just explained it away. It's like, oh no, you know. And people seem to fall for it, or apparently have, but maybe they're not anymore. I don't know. They had
it's almost like if the media doesn't report on it, it doesn't exist.
Right, it doesn't exist.
You know, anybody who might be involved in the process just brushes it under the carpet and just says, okay, well, we're just going to move on, and, you know, nothing to see here. You know, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, you know, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, you know.
Move along, nothing to see. Well, a Gladys Kogo was a temp worker for Miami-Dade County elections in the November election. And, you know, you would think if you were going to have somebody open mail-in ballots, it would not be a temp that you've never seen before, which is exactly what they did. They hired temporary workers and then entrusted them to counting ballots. I mean, what could possibly go wrong with that?
Entrust them with one of our most precious rights. Sure, Why not?
I wonder if they asked her for a driver's license when she applied.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, so she'd been hired to open mail-in ballots, and she decided to go a step further. She deliberately altered the ballots to steer more votes towards Republican mayoral candidate Raquel Regalado. Now, being a good conservative Republican, I can go, well, you know, I mean, it was just a technical error. But the fact is, it wasn't. The fact is it was crooked as the day is long, and she got time. She got, well, it was house arrest, I think. But she's got a 2-year sentence, house arrest, which if she blows it, she will go to jail.
Right.
And
but
then,
that's diversion. That's what that is.
Yeah. And then the other thing is Tony Lee Newbill cast 2 ballots in the name of her deceased father. That's a way to honor your father. Make the dead vote, right? She pled guilty and was given 18 months of probation in order to complete 30 hours of community service, as well as pay a $500 fine. I think her community service, her 30 hours of community service, was working on voting machines.
She did her community service getting training as an election judge.
Right. I find it interesting that you can require identification for virtually everything. Getting on an airplane, going on a train, those all require some form of identification. But of course, the Democrats have continuously fought identifying voters when they go to the poll to make sure that they are who they say they are. There are, I forget the number now. There's, do you remember there was a percentage that was thrown out sort of early after the election about what percentage they thought the Chicago vote fraud was? Do you remember that?
Well, I know in Illinois, Bruce Rauner, when he ran for governor the first time, he and his people came up with a number that they estimated vote fraud to be around 5 to 6%. So in order to win the election, he needed to best Pat Quinn by at least 10% to make sure that he would win.
Yeah, what he literally did was made his campaign workers get that extra margin.
Right. That's what their goal was 10% more because they needed like that 4% cushion that they were calculating.
Yeah. Larry.
And I don't remember how much he ended up winning by, but it was considerable. There was no question.
Yeah. I have here a note from Larry Andel that says, "Please burn that shirt."
Yeah.
You don't like my Madigan shirt, Andel? Is that what you're telling me?
Maybe he doesn't understand it. There was somebody who either saw mine or yours somewhere, and they didn't understand that it was anti-Madigan. They thought it was supportive of Madigan.
With that picture? Madigan would croak if
It says
saw
Mad
that picture.
World. The words are mostly cut off on the screen. So for anyone who can't see it, it says Mad World. Obviously mocking the fact that he's King Madigan.
Yeah, exactly. I have some die-hard liberal friends that said, "Hillary, no effing way." That's Larry again. Larry, put that on Facebook. Is there a show tonight? Not really. Kind of.
No, it's a show. It's definitely a show. It's a show like we have never given a show. Especially if you go put on your Speedo.
You know, we have long said that because frequently we pull out of our, you know what, right? That's not uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
And that we've long said, oh, you know, we don't have to prepare at all. We could just do a show. You know what? That's not true. It's not true. No. Not stick to anything that makes any sense to anyone else. It's not true. But this article raises the question that it astounds me that people don't get. You can't do anything in this country without showing ID. You really can't. You buy something at a store, half of the time they want us. Now with the new chip, that's gotten better. But it used to be, you know, I need to see identification after you give a credit card. You can't even get past the checkpoint in an airport without having a driver's license.
Right. I've actually been asked for ID twice to make credit card purchases here in Hawaii. And there are stores in Illinois that routinely ask for that. Stores that often have a lot of young people. Unfortunately, you know, some young people are known to lift their parents' credit cards to go clothes shopping or whatever. And so there are stores that routinely will ask for ID to back up a credit card. But in like a day and a half here, I've gotten it twice. So
really?
That just tells you.
Did you call your credit card company before you left and said you were going to Hawaii?
No.
See, that's what they want you to do. When I used to travel to Asia and Europe, first time I made any kind, put it on a hotel or whatever it was, first time I used a card, bam, they would lock it up. Now, that's really...
Well, technically, I'm not in a foreign country.
No, but you're 36 billion time zones away from home.
Sure.
And it's atypical. You know, I mean, how often do you go to Hawaii? Like once? That's it.
This is my first time, yeah.
Yeah.
And because it's hot as balls, it's probably my last time.
Probably your last time, yeah. What irritated me, though, about it, quite frankly, it's not like I went to Europe once, or it's not like I went to China once, or Hong Kong once.
Right.
I was there all the time.
Right.
And at some point, you'd think they'd see your spending pattern, and they go, guy travels all over the world. No. Every time I go, first time I run a card, usually the hotel checking in, they go, it's not accepted. What do you mean it's not accepted?
You almost cursed.
I didn't, though.
I think it depends a lot on the credit card company, because I've had other credit cards in the past that are a little bit more finicky, and like my dad's had his card shut off when he went to Montana before, and but I haven't had that problem. So I think, you know, just the credit card that I'm using, they don't have that rule.
I guess, I don't know. But it's, you know, joking aside, it's really, it's an embarrassment, because I was in Paris and I took several people out to dinner, and, you know, you whip out the old card and hand it to them, and they come back and they go, it's no good. And, you know, you got 4 people sitting at the table.
Say it with a French accent.
This credit card is no good, but we will give you a little bit of water and a little bit of gruel.
We will give you the leftover bread from yesterday.
Yes, the croissant. Would you like a croissant from the garbage? Yeah. Does that mean that we're going to end? We got 53 seconds?
That's what that means.
Hey, I got to go away. We're almost done. Except I don't have a close, so that works out real well, too. I don't have anything.
You'll have the music.
Say something. Oh,
You say thank you for listening to On Target Radio.
Wait 34 seconds.
I say we'd like to thank our engineer, Eric Allen, and our sponsors, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, the Illinois State Rifle Association, Will County Grassroots Division, my editor, Creative Business Services, Yellow Checker of Joliet, and Safer USA.
How the hell did you do that?
Repetition.
Bye.